Hey everybody, greetings to our Travelzoo members and friends around the USA and around the world. Welcome to a special presentation today, Rediscovering Ireland. My name is Gabe SAGLIE. I'm senior editor for Travelzoo, coming to you from the beautiful walled city, the city of Derry, here in Northern Ireland. I'm out here from Los Angeles, California, one of many Americans beginning to flock back to Ireland because we've heard the news. Ireland is easing restrictions now for fully vaccinated American travelers and rolling out that green carpet, ready to welcome back the world. This program is being brought to you in partnership with Tourism Ireland, which just last month launched its Green Button campaign, #GreenButton, issuing a message to the world that international travel is making a comeback to the Emerald Isle. So we'll be doing a couple of things on our show today. First off, we will be sharing some of the great sights and sounds and experiences that we've uncovered, covering hundreds of miles across the Emerald Isle over just the last couple of days. And we'll be talking about Halloween. The spooky holiday, of course, originated here in Ireland. Derry, as a matter of fact, has really embraced their Halloween identity. They've become known as one of the great Halloween destinations on the planet. Don't forget, for all things Ireland, you can find us on our website, of course, at travelzoo.com. You'll find some great inspiration and information, and of course, those famous exclusive Travelzoo deals that'll get you out here. So let's get going as we get ready to rediscover Ireland. Why the love for Halloween here? Would you believe Ireland is the birthplace of Halloween? 3,000 years ago, many experts say it happened here on what's known as the Hill of Ward in County Meath. Archaeological digs and carbon dating strongly suggest that this was the site of pagan rituals, bonfire sacrificial celebrations, marking the end of the calendar year, October 31st, a time when it was believed the veil between this world and the next was at its thinnest, suggesting that spirits from the beyond could cross over. A lot of the traditions around Halloween would have originated back then. People wearing costumes and masks to scare off and confuse goblins who might be trying to snatch them. The Halloween connection inspiring, of course, festivals and experiences throughout the island of Ireland these days. Here in the city of Derry, a global reputation for its annual extravaganza, Derry Halloween. USA Today once declared it the best Halloween attraction in the world. As it ramps back up post-pandemic, new ventures like this one are emerging, the Lost Souls of the Walled City Tour. 90 minutes spotlighting some of the many stories of murder, torture, and ghosts linked to Derry. Ghoulish characters come to life, and the tour descends on Derry's famous fortress walls, which date back more than 400 years. The New Puka Festival, which launched in 2019, is making a comeback this year. It is named after a mischievous creature in Irish folklore. Famous Slane Castle has been hosting nighttime events this month. Spectacular light shows illuminated against the stone walls of this late 18th century castle. Creative whiskey cocktails for the grown-ups as well. The Wicklow Jail is embracing its own spooky reputation. It's purported to be one of the most haunted jails in the world. It saw prisoners from the late 1700s to the early 1900s and a fair share of hangings as well. Employees here tell me, yes, they have seen and felt the unexplained. A new virtual reality experience here is getting high marks. And in Dublin, a fair share of spooky stories as well. Glasnevin Cemetery, its own spine-tingling destination, Ireland's largest cemetery, more than 1.6 million burials, and a tower that once guarded against grave robbers.
Well, men are known to be kind of overcome by this overwhelming trembling.
That's Sean Egan from Alternative Dublin Tours, recounting the tale of the Green Lady, an 18th century madam publicly burned in punishment, but her spirit, some believe, still trying to exact revenge in the gardens of St. Oidine's Church. So, Ireland's embracing of Halloween is in full force, and travelers can certainly begin to consider traveling here during this season to experience this spooky holiday where it began. Okay, now let's switch gears and talk about the return of international travelers to Ireland. On the streets of Dublin this week, we found buzzy crowds, lots of U.S. visitors. COVID restrictions for vaccinated Americans have just been eased. No negative test requirements, no need to quarantine. And that's already sending visitor numbers up. By summer of 2022, projections are that the number of flights from the U.S. to Ireland will match those we were seeing pre-pandemic in 2019. Dublin, of course, is at the center of Ireland's reopening. This is Ireland's capital, a buzzy cosmopolitan city that is the main entry point for international visitors. Travelers are being drawn here these days in part because Ireland has Europe's greatest percentage of fully vaccinated residents at more than 92%. Not to mention some of the continent's great hotels, restaurants, and landmark attractions. This is the famous Ha'penny Bridge, which straddles the River Liffey and dates back to 1816. There is no denying that the U.S. market is critical to Ireland. In 2019, 1.7 million Americans traveled here and spent $1.9 billion, more than a quarter of Ireland's entire international tourism revenue. On the rooftop of the Marker Hotel in Dublin this week, I met with NIALL GIBBONS, CEO of Tourism Ireland, to talk about bringing those kinds of numbers back. There is buzz on the ground. The green carpet has been, rolled out for international visitors. That's got to be exciting for you.
Green button's been pushed, green carpet's been laid out. Looking forward to welcoming so many more people from North America. With the United States opening on the 8th of November, it really opens up the whole two-way relationship now. And we're getting great news from the air carriers again about re-establishing connectivity. It's going to get easier to get here. The welcome on the ground will be second to none. And the feedback we got when I was over in the United States 2 weeks ago was really positive. People are telling us pent-up travel, can't wait to go. And we're really looking forward to great months and years ahead to re-establishing tourism as our biggest industry.
Certainly, and when you look at the American market, North American market in general, very critical to the tourism industry here in Ireland, isn't it?
Hard to believe, in 2019, 10% of all US travellers to mainland Europe came to Ireland. I mean, for a small island on the periphery of Europe with a population of about 6 million people, that's a lot when you think about Italy, Germany, France, Spain, all these big countries, the UK out there. So it just speaks volumes about the connection between the two countries, not just ancestral, but also moving forward as well in the new relationships of investment and tourism and everything. And I think we just get each other, and that's why the carpet's going to be rolled out for everyone that comes.
Indeed. Now, as so many of us return to Ireland, even if we've been here before, we're going to look for what's familiar, what we know and love about Ireland.
The one thing that people are going to be saying and have been saying to us over the last 18 months in the research, it's about wholesome reconnection, and people are looking to go back to familiar destinations. They want to get back to meet family and friends. They want to get back to doing things that are familiar. And I think that's a really emerging theme that we're going to see over the next 2 years, and I think there's no better place to do that than Ireland.
Listen, I've been here for a couple of days. One thing I can say for sure has not changed is that sense of enthusiasm, that warm Irish hospitality that is world famous here. That's pervasive still very much everywhere you go here on the island.
Well, we've just taken the pause button off and we put the play button on, so we're ready to go.
As for visitor experiences, we found they abound as we traveled across Ireland this week. Screen tourism, for example, is surging. County Meath, about 30 miles outside Dublin, is home to Trim Castle, featured in the Mel Gibson movie Braveheart. It dates back to the 12th century and hosts period reenactments. In County Wicklow, the town of Enniskerry is still buzzing over the fact that Disney transformed it into a set for Disenchanted, the sequel to 2007's Enchanted with Amy Adams and Patrick Dempsey. It comes out next year. And Kilruddery House and Gardens nearby is a gorgeous 800-acre estate that's been owned by the same family since 1618. It's a cultural destination now. Families flock here to stroll the sprawling gardens. My Left Foot with Daniel Day-Lewis was filmed here. So was Far and Away with Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. Kilruddery is also a fork-to-table hotspot. Visitors get to eat here what is grown here. What's being called agritourism, in fact, is surging here as well. About 40 miles from Dublin, K2 Alpacas is a 90-acre farm that's home to close to 100 of the adorable animals that are members of the camel family. Visitors flock here for one-on-one time and for 2-hour treks with them into the beautiful Wicklow Hills. On-site stays will be available here soon. On Ireland's northeastern coast, County Donegal is gaining attention as a nature destination. Forests and lakes, scenic drives. Harvey's Point Resort is considered one of the most luxurious places to stay here. 4 stars, eco-friendly, set right on the shores of Loch Esk, a sparkling lake that stretches close to 1,000 acres. We chatted with the hotel's ambassador, the well-known local bon vivant Noel Cunningham, to talk about the appeal of County Donegal as a post-pandemic destination.
Donegal, it's one of those very special places. People are craving new experiences. We were up here in the northwest. People genuinely hadn't discovered us. Yeah. The Americans came in droves years and years ago, but they never moved this far north. And here we have history, we have culture, we have unspoiled areas, and that's what people are gravitating toward. It's wide open spaces, we have mountain, lake and sea, and most importantly, that charming welcome that's so unique in Donegal.
You've been affiliated with this resort for a long time. It is a snapshot of the kind of luxury experience that travelers can experience in this part of the country as well.
Absolutely. When people saw this resort being built, it started very small, it grew, and there'd have been the odd local who would have said, "You're off your head." But you know what? no more than in other parts of the world. People with vision thought, build it, people will come. So that juxtaposition of that wonderful charm of a bygone era and the modern world coexist very beautifully together.
I feel very welcome, Noel.
You
I'm
are
loving it here.
most welcome. And that's what we want to make sure that the world knows. There are still unspoiled, beautiful areas where you will be respected, you will be loved, you will be absolutely made so welcome, because we're so aware that for us up here in Donegal, the tourism and the visitor and hospitality form the backbone of our economy.
Noel leads hotel guests on 2-hour walks every Wednesday morning around the lake and through the woods, a mix of cardio, history, and charm, and a snapshot of the natural wonderland known here as the Wild Atlantic Way. The western shores of Ireland are home to some of the most spectacular open spaces you're ever going to see. Sweeping, dramatic, unspoiled, not to mention a plethora of experiences around culture, food, and adventure. This is Ireland's Wild Atlantic Way. At 1,500 miles, the Wild Atlantic Way is one of the longest designated driving routes in the world. The views are fascinating, but so are the people. Along St. John's Point near Donegal town, we discovered Cindy Graham, a hand weaver who turned an 18th century straw thatch roof cottage on her family farm into a workshop. She brings a local industry to life that thrived here decades ago but waned in the 1980s, crafting everything from scarves to hats and throws to coats. You can visit her studio year-round. The Wild Atlantic Way can be discovered over multiple visits to Ireland. Landmark sites include the Cliffs of Moher in County Clare, a dramatic 700 feet high and almost 9 miles long. No doubt one of Ireland's most spectacular destination attractions. Those cliffs are beautiful. In fact, they're open 7 days a week now to visitors. They're located just about 200 miles from where we are right now here in Derry in Northern Ireland. Well, the rain is starting to fall now, which probably means it's time for us to go indoors, maybe to a pub. So that's going to wrap it up for this special program, Rediscovering Ireland, brought to you by Travelzoo and our friends at Tourism Ireland and Tourism Northern Ireland. Thanks for your hospitality and for your long-standing partnership. A special thank you to my friend Paul Daniel. He's a Dublin-based videographer. We've covered about 1,000 miles together this last week or so, and we're still friends. Isn't that something? Don't forget, Travelzoo.com for all the information, inspiration, and exclusive deals that'll get you out here to Ireland. And of course, a big thank you to you for watching this program. Fact is, we're starting to move around all over again, and we wish you safe travels as we begin to discover Ireland and the world all over again. I'm Gabe SAGLIE. Cheers.